There are nights when I'm done. The kids are driving me nuts. I didn't get as much as I wanted to get done, and so I find a movie on Netflix or Disney Plus to numb the masses until it's bedtime. My wife said there was a new movie that came out on Netflix, so without thinking, I just kind of threw it on. I do like to watch movies ahead of my kids because you just never know what's going to be in a kid's movie these days, but I settled for watching the movie with them this time, and dang, I was actually surprised. In Your Dreams is good.
Well, I'll be darned.
The movie centers around two siblings, Stevie and Elliot, who have a typical sibling relationship. Stevie is the older sibling, whose life was perfect before her messy brother came into the picture. Elliot is a slob, leaving bologna on the floor, keeping his side of the room untidy, and constantly causing trouble for Stevie. But it's not the main issue that the two siblings have to face. Stevie figures out that mom and dad are fighting. Dad is a musician who has gone into a creative slump, and Stevie's mother, knowing that bills need to be paid, decides to interview at a college in Duluth. Dad is in charge for a couple days, but mom leaves the responsibility of helping Elliot with his book report to Stevie, who takes him to the local library. At the library, Elliot sneaks off to a section blocked off and finds a book about the Sandman. Elliot smuggles the book back to the house, and after reciting a chant from a page in the book together, unexpected events start to occur. That night, Elliot and Stevie have a dream where the bed comes alive and begins to fly across town. Before the two are finally woken up by a giant storm that crashes them to the ground. It was all a dream. Before the storm appeared, though, they came across the Sandman, who, if they are able to reach him, will allow their dreams to come true. Stevie wishes for her own room, but in reality she just wants her parents to stay together. After observing her father and mother fighting in the driveway, with her dad stating he doesn't want to go to Duluth, Stevie's desire to reach the Sandman becomes more intense. In the next dream, Stevie and Elliot are introduced to the side character of Tony Baloney, Elliot's stolen stuffed animal, who informs them how to reach the Sandman. In order for them to meet the Sandman, they must pass Night Mara, who stops people who wish to meet the Sandman. I brushed across the general premise of the plot, but feel it's important at this point to give a spoiler warning to anyone who continues watching this video. It's almost impossible to talk about the general themes of this movie without spoiling the end and the outcome of Stevie and her family, so be warned.
I warned you.
The animation in this movie is really fun. Stevie's dream of Breakfast Land is cute and real for a kid that desires to recapture her childhood, a major theme throughout this movie. There's a couple jokes in the scene that are absolutely hilarious as both a kid and an adult, but the third main character, Tony Baloney, is just great. Tony Baloney throws baloney, but also has a slapstick humor that is perfect for a kid's movie. He's an information hub because he lives in this world, but also a comedic companion that lightens some of the intense moments of this movie. As a child of divorce, I really understand the fear that Stevie has of her parents separating and the life that it would create for all of them. I was a kid who longed for my parents to get back together, not knowing the complexities of their relationship and the hardships that each one of them had to go through. Honestly, I thought they captured both Stevie and Elliot's perspective perfectly. They don't want their life to change, and how they grapple with that possibility of change is very realistic. Once Stevie finds out that Elliot and her are linked in the dream world, she tells Elliot the truth about their parents' relationship, and they both agree to do whatever it takes to reach the Sandman and make their wish come true. Again, I can think of many other kids in my situation that thought they could do something to help their parents' relationship, which helps many of us relate to Stevie and Elliot as characters. Stevie and Elliot then go through a montage of different nightmares, all in kids' lens, but with some adult undertones. Elliot is afraid of grandma, Stevie is afraid of getting a B. The two try over and over to get past Night Mara, but are unsuccessful. It isn't until they work together, because they said the chant together, that they are able to get past Night Mara's traps and reach Sandman's fortress.
We won. Together. Friendship. Teamwork.
Sandman is happy and surprised to see them, a little red flag, and after a little song and dance with his magical beans, he takes them to the hourglass, where their wish will come true once the last grain of sand falls from the hourglass. They are then teleported back to the real world, where Stevie and Elliot have the perfect day, the perfect breakfast, the perfect walk in the woods, and their parents' relationship perfectly intact. It isn't until Stevie looks at a picture that broke earlier in the movie, and Elliot notices his stuffed animal bears without blemishes, that they both realize that they are still in a dream. And this is nothing but an illusion. Sandman rushes in, telling them that they need to wait until the last screen falls, but Elliot refuses to continue Dreamy. Dang, that's good. In this age of technology and social media that allows us to submerge ourselves in false realities, it's a perfect metaphor for our society today. Elliot knows this isn't true and decides to embrace the pain, while Stevie, who also knows the truth, decides to live in the false reality that she has built. I get this is a kid's movie, but its theme is so true. Many of us live in these silos that are separated from reality. Some of them by our choosing, like Stevie, but some of them forced by the algorithm that feeds us. It's hard to embrace the reality of hardship, to be confronted with the fact that we are wrong, or that the world is not what we want it to be, and how we choose to embrace that is huge. Elliot wants to rescue Stevie from this reality, but Stevie doesn't. And upon their grips releasing, Elliot falls back onto the Sandman's world model and is sent back to the real world. Stevie is then led back into her false reality by the Sandman. Again, it's just good. How many of us try to force others out of their false reality for them to resist? I know that these writers are probably not thinking this complex, and if they are thinking it in one particular political side, but even though this is a kid's movie, the themes are strong and emotional. Stevie is stuck in her deep sleep, resisting to wake up, but more likely resistant to embrace the change that is happening in her life. The Sandman tells her this is the only option because her parents want different things besides each other, and Stevie would rather live in this false reality than deal with the truth. Elliot goes to get his parents, who rush Stevie to the hospital. Elliot rambles on about the Sandman for his parents to look at him like he's a nutcase, but Elliot doesn't care, eventually falling back asleep so that he can rescue his sister from the fists of the Sandman. Stevie continues to live in her fake reality before realizing her life is not the same without Elliot. She tries to escape but is unsuccessful until Elliot comes crashing in. Elliot, with the help of Tony Baloney and his parents, are able to save Stevie and return her to the real world. The last scene is the family packing up to Duluth, embracing the change and the challenges that will come ahead. I was really curious how this movie was going to end. We live in a society where divorce is rampant and in many cases widely accepted, so I wasn't sure what the outcomes of the parents was going to be. Other movies in this kids genre have embraced divorce messaging, and I personally don't know if that's great for the health of children. I would also not accept a movie where violence against a spouse is accepted, which is why my stance would be somewhere in the middle. I think sometimes it's too easy to simplify divorce in kids' entertainment because frankly it's not entertaining, and in many circumstances it's complicated. So I appreciate how this movie approaches the problem. The conflicts in the parents' relationship are not going away. The world they live in is not perfect, but like the movie stated, if it was a perfect world, it wouldn't be their world. They are imperfect people with imperfect emotions and imperfect ways of handling conflict, and that's okay. I love the message of work hard, try everything, because marriage is not easy, and raising children can cause you to lose yourself in the equation. I personally loved this movie, and after watching several adult films and reviewing them, I'm glad to find a good movie, one that made me laugh and had a positive message. Netflix did a great job with this movie, and if you're looking to watch a movie with the kids, I would highly recommend In Your Dreams. Remember, no matter how hard your problems are, there is light at the end of the tunnel. No matter what challenges you are facing, you can overcome them. Life is hard. Relationships are hard. We are imperfect, but there's always hope and better days ahead. I hope you enjoy this video. If so, leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. As always, thanks for being a part of Adaptation Nation. Peace out.